What's up, guys? I appreciate you tuning back in with your boy, and showing me love. If you could give me a like, follow, or subscribe. I talk about like campaigns and shoot products and give tips and ideas and stuff. So I actually did a campaign for a pair of jeans by G-Star, and luckily I had a couple friends help me. I had one super dope photographer. His name is Dwight. I'll put his IG and everything so you can follow him. And I have another friend who had a super cool bike. He just got his bike too, so it was like perfect timing in the summer. It was a beautiful summer night, so I was like, all right, this will mesh good. So the jeans, they're like a super dark black with like white highlights in a way, like the stitching is kind of lighter. So he has an all black and white bike, and it just meshed perfect. Now with this BTS action, there's a couple of highlights and funny parts and stuff in there, but I'll be popping in frequently, just talking about why I say certain things or do certain things or interact with the photographer or with the environment, because at the end of the day, it all helps the shoot. And when shooting with a photographer, you guys want the best shots, so it's good to collab with the photographer. Give out your ideas, because you're gonna have a different perspective sometimes, and you're gonna have different reference points. And at the end of the day, you both got different eyes. It's just one is more technical with the camera, but luckily in this sense, I also know photography and videography. So my friend that I brought, Dwight, he's a genius when it comes to photography and videography. So we both have that level playing ground of what looks good, what doesn't, what can we add, what does make sense, what props should or shouldn't be, what poses. We go about all of that. So if you stick around to the end, you'll see me go over again why these tips help a lot when it comes to a campaign. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to a brand or a product, you want the best shots. You want the cleanest shots, the coolest background and the coolest setups that you can get. So with that being said, let's get into it.
So would this just be record, Kurt, and you just edit it through?
So explaining this part, this is where it gets a little tricky, because you got to wear many hats when you don't have a crew on standby, as far as like a stylist, somebody to control sound, a little bit of everything. So you got to wear multiple hats, which I'm so used to. But in this case, we're styling for the jeans, so I got to always constantly keep my eye on how the jeans are laying, how they're laying on my shoes, how a crease. Especially if I'm doing like detail shots, I like to make sure that it's a clear open area where you can see the brand that I'm trying to shoot for.
Give me a couple practice shots, man, so I can kind of see. Then I'm gonna see what you're looking at. That way I can kind of adjust myself.
When shooting, it's always good to ask for practice shots if you're gonna be the one in front of the camera, because you want to see what the photographer is shooting or the videographer. You want to see what their eye is catching, and while you're watching it back with them, maybe you guys can come up with like new ideas, or you can see something that's wrong. Maybe something is crooked, or when it comes to a styling standpoint, maybe something is off, maybe something not laying right, so then you get a chance to fix it.
All right, hold on. Give me, because I need to know how you shoot. So give me a count. So how do you shoot? Do you do 1, 2, next pose, 1, 2, 3, shoot one shot? Okay.
So when you're in front of the camera, you always want to ask the photographer, how do they shoot their shots? Because this is where a model kind of tenses up, or the posing might not go as smooth or as right.
Yeah, so what we looking like?
Oh yeah, that's
Yes, sir.
am kind of going after a cooler look with the cigar, but I usually like to use certain props, especially props of elements. So like with smoke, you can't really control smoke. It just kind of goes where it goes, and sometimes the shots come out cool, sometimes they come out terrible, but majority of times they come out cool because it's an element that you can't really control. So I always like, you know, shooting with a cigar or any type of props. So when shooting for a brand or a product, you always want to think of the best way to capture it, the cleanest way. So I'm always looking for detail, especially if I'm shooting with a prop. Like, so the bike is a prop and I'm trying to have it to where the bike kind of meshes with the jeans that I'm shooting for. So that way, you know, you got the black and white, you got a shinier black, and I'm trying to always find like leading lines, and I don't ever want the picture to seem clustered. I always want it to be like not flat, but not too much going on. But because when it is a brand, you want the brand name to stick out.
Oh, okay. There.
That middle office, where all the office are, Starbucks, all that shit. I'm like, the whole block. Hell no.
How close do you think we can be to still capture the detail of the smoke? Because I don't necessarily need a lot. No. I want the whole body, and we don't necessarily need too much top. Yeah, probably a little like that. Yeah, more stuff.
And it's also important when you're shooting with a photographer or a videographer. And another reason why I like being in front of the camera is because I get to see two versions of the shots. I get to see it being modeled with me actually modeling the brand or the product, and I get to see from what the photographer is shooting. So you see two different angles of that product or that brand, which just makes it even better. And then at the same time, you're learning the shots that you want. So I might want a tighter shot on something, or I might want a quarter shot, or I might want to lower this, or, you know, make this more in focal and take this out of focal. So you kind of learn that stuff as you go along. My homie Dwight, he was the one who came up with the idea of having the dispatch in the background, and he had that planned before we even started shoot. Like, I think maybe a day or two before we started shooting. So that's why I said it. Sometimes the photographer has a specific direction and shot that they want to shoot, and make sure that they get it. You know, help them as much as you can to get it. Keep it as clean and simple as possible so you don't cluster them, and make sure that they get their shots. And then, you know, either before or after, you can kind of speak up and, you know, ask for certain type of shots that you want, or, you know, more freestyle.
Ah!
also when shooting with a photographer, never be scared to, speak up on things, especially if you're the model. Now, if the photographer has a specific direction and a specific look they're going for and they don't want to change it, that's fine. You just kind of play the role that you're supposed to play. But if it's more of a freestyle and both of you guys are trying to find the best angle or the best shot, never be scared to speak up and say what you don't like or what you do like, what looks bad on you, what looks good on you, what angle, everything, because all of it counts, and it helps you and the photographer at the end because y'all both get the best shot.
For people who don't, I'm like, the light, they like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Bring that full glow. So I was trying to think. I'm gonna throw this cardigan on. So I think we got enough. Hold on, bro. Let me get a couple of these.
All right, so this was probably a little bit towards the end, and I'm always a big proponent of always trying to find something that spices up a picture, because when it comes to pictures, sometimes it's hard to make them as engaging versus a video, because a picture, how long is somebody really going to look at a picture? Majority of the time, the average person is probably going to look at it for 10 seconds, 15 seconds at the most, if that, unless you really like photography and you're really looking for different elements or different things with inside that picture, then somebody will dissect it a little bit more. But for the average person, they're looking at it not so long. Versus video, you control how long they look. If the video is a minute long, if it's 2 minutes long, they're gonna watch for a minute or 2 minutes long. I mean, depending on people's attention span. But when it comes to these type of shots, I'm always trying to figure out, all right, what makes it better? It might be that certain prop or a certain element that you add or even take away, because sometimes simpler is better. So I'm always trying to add stuff. All right, I hope you liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. It wasn't as hard to shoot. Usually I shoot a lot more intense BTS. I'm always moving the camera around, and I hope you enjoyed me knocking out my little push-ups to, if you're gonna take a shot in the beater, man, you gotta kind of have some swole on you, man. So I'll drop down to give 20 at any time. So I hope some of those tips helped you guys with future campaign shoots that you're doing for your brand or product. And if they did, let me know in the comments. Let me know some things I did wrong. Let me know some things I did right. And just let me know what type of shoots you guys do, or any tips that you may have. Put them in the comments. Let me know. So until next time, I'll catch you later.